Well, hello Internet, and welcome to part 12 of my How to Make Video Games tutorial series. In this video, we are going to completely finish Tetris. We're going to add some sounds, we're going to provide a way to increase difficulty over time, we're going to create a game over scene, we're going to display the next shape, and a whole bunch of other different things. Like always, all the code and images and sounds and everything are available in the description underneath the video, and I have a lot to do, so let's get into it. Alright, so here we are in Unity. So what do I need to do now? Well, I'm going to be adding sounds, so I went and grabbed some sounds. Like I said, I have them in a link in the description, and I'm going to select all these sounds, and I'm going to drag them up and put them in my sounds folder. Alright, so we got that set up, and obviously we have the cube there, and we click on sounds, you can now see there they are, and this little orange thing here says that everything is okay with them. Now what we've got to do is create our sound manager. So we're going to do this in the hierarchy. We're going to go create audio and audio source. There it is. And we're going to call this sound manager. And this is going to basically allow us to grab the sounds and play them whenever we would like. We're then going to create a script and we're going to call it sound manager. There it is. And there is Sound Manager. Okay, then we'll select the Sound Manager little guy over here in the hierarchy, and we will grab this, the Sound Manager script we have, and drop it right there. And now we're going to double click on Sound Manager and get all this working. Okay, so what do we need to do? Well, first off, I only ever want there to be one sound manager because, that doesn't make sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a singleton and basically set up everything so that only one sound manager can ever be created. So sound manager is the type and instance is going to be equal to null. We are then going to provide a way for the user to go in there and set all of their sounds. So these are going to be audio clips, not audio behaviors. Sorry about that. And I'm going to call this the rotate sounds. And let's go make a whole bunch of these. I am not going to play the Tetris music because I am just positive that it's probably something that is copywritten or something. And I don't want this to be blocked in any way, this video. So you can add that background music, but I'm not going to. And I showed you in a previous part of the tutorial how to add background music and how to keep it playing even whenever a scene ends. So here is a whole bunch of these and game over. Alright, so there's a bunch of different sounds. I'm not certain that I'm going to use every one of them, but I think I will. Alright, so then I need to refer to the audio source that's going to be added to the sound manager to play sound effects. So I'm going to say private audio source and sound effect audio. And then down inside of start, this is going to be the singleton area. And what I need to do here is make sure that there's only one sound manager. And if I ever come across another one, I'm going to destroy it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say if we are trying to create a new sound manager, I'm going to check if instance is equal to null. And if it is, well, that means that, whoops, let's go and close that off and get rid of this. And if it is, well, then that means I can set instance to this guy right here. And else, if the instance is not equal to this in that situation, I am going to destroy this version of the sound manager to make sure that there's only ever one. Oh, this is, I need to put game object in there. Whoops, sorry about that. Alright, so there it is. And then after this, I'm going to say audio source. The source is going to be equal to, and I'll go get component audio source like that. And then I can go sound effect audio is going to be equal to the source. And then the guy that actually matters a lot, this is going to be the function that's going to be called every single time I want to play an audio clip. It's not going to return anything, it's just going to play a sound. So play one shot, and it's going to receive an audio clip that we will call clip. And then I'll go sound effects audio play one shot, and it'll be whatever the audio clip is that they passed in. Okay, so got all that set up. I don't think there's any errors, and now we can go and drag over our audio clips. Okay, so here we are, and we're open up. I just clicked on the sound manager here, and you can see over here all of the audio clips that are listed. And then I'm just going to go sounds, and I'll go game over and drag that down there. And then there's the rotate sound. Let's drag that right there, and row deletes. Drag that right there, and shape move. Where's that at? Oh, there's shape move. Shape move right there, and shape stop. Where's shape stop? Let's go and look. I don't know. For some reason it wasn't in here. Let's paste it in there again. There it is. And then we'll drag it over here and drop it in the sounds. There it is. Now it showed up. Don't know why that happened. Alright, so we got it fixed. Doesn't really matter. So let's grab shape stop and put it right there. So there we got all of our different sounds. Pretty good. We'll save that. Now we have to figure out where we're going to put all of these guys. I'm going to go scripts, and game board is where I think I want to do it. So let's just go to the top and figure out where we are going to put all of our different little guys we got here. Well, I do not need any here. Actually, I don't even need this print array anymore. I can get rid of it altogether. Why don't I do that? Because it's getting a little too busy here. So let's get rid of that altogether. And I do not believe I have a reference to it. I think I blacked that out in the last part of the tutorial series. Here's delete all full rows. There is going to be a place that I want to play a sound effect. Oh, see, I have it right here. Make sound. Okay, so that's good. So let's get rid of that. And to play a sound, we just go sound manager and instance and play one shot. And then you refer to the name of whatever the sound is that you gave it. So instance and row delete. So there it is. That's how we play a sound. Pretty easy stuff. So let's go and let's copy that, and then we'll test it here in a minute to see if it worked. And then we're going to jump over into shape. There's going to be a whole bunch of different sounds we're going to play inside of here. So let's scroll down inside of here. We're going to basically be playing a sound every single time we move in any way. So where are we going to play these sounds? Well, we're going to play these sounds right here under Update Game Board. Just paste that inside of there. And what we're going to play here is shape move. So shape move. And here we're going to play shape move again. Might as well just copy shape move and paste that in there. So copy that and shape move. Go down again. Keep going, and where else do we got? Oh, well, there's another update game board. I'm actually gonna do two of them inside of here. So I'm gonna throw this right here, and this is going to be shape stop. So let's call shape stop. And then another one after my update game boards. Paste that in there. And this one's just going to be shape move, just like I did previously. And then we have our rotates. We're just going to paste this there. And this is going to be rotate sound, I believe. Rotate sound. And there's going to be another rotate sound. So let's copy that. And that's going to come here again. Update game board, of course. And I think that's it. So let's go test it. Look down here. Don't see any errors. So everything should be okay. Let's run it. And you can see there's sounds. And there's the rotate, and there's another sound for when it stops. And I'm trying to get a completed row here to show up so that I can just test my one last sound. And here's a completed row, so let's just go and test that. And there it worked. All right, so cool. So now what do I need to do? Let's check the console just to make sure. Yeah, I don't see any bugs, and no, I don't see any bugs. All right, so that's good. So now what are we going to do? Well, I want to slowly increase the speed of my falling shapes just to make it a little bit more difficult. So where am I going to do that at? I think I'll do that in shape. All right, so back to the top. What am I going to need to define inside of here? Well, I think I'm going to change speed in this situation. I'm going to have this be, well, I can just leave it that way. I'm going to make it static though. So let's make speed static. And then down inside of the start area, I'm going to do a couple different things here. Actually, I'm kind of thinking that I might need to set up the game over scene here. Before I do this, it might make a little bit more sense. So I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to come back inside of here. And I'm going to create a new scene in my scene folder. And I'm going to call this game over. So let's go inside of here and let's create a new scene. And we'll call it game over. All right, so that's good. And let's go and, well, let's save everything. Make sure everything's all saved. So file, save project, file, save scenes, and then double click on game over. And then for this guy, I'm going to want to create a text component. I'm going to keep this extremely simple. So you can make this as complicated as you'd like, but I'm going to keep it a very, very, very simple. I'm going to just call it game over, just for anything. Doesn't really matter. And let's come over here and let's just say game over like that for our text. Don't know if I'm going to do anything otherwise with that. I'm then going to click on the canvas, go in here and set a couple different things. I'm going to set this to world space like I always do. I'm going to get my camera, drag it over here, drop it inside of there like I did right there. Dynamic pixels per unit, I'm going to have that be 10. My positioning on this is going to be 0 and 0 and 0 for all of those guys. I'm going to change my width and height, and I know what this is because I did this already on the other scene. I'm just basically using exactly the same things as I did previously. And then let's zoom out of here and see where our text is. So where is that guy hidden at? Sometimes it's in wacky places. And sure enough, it's way down here. I don't know if you can see it. So I'm going to drag it up here, throw it in the middle, and then zoom way in. I'm going to shrink it down here first off. It's going to shrink down a lot. Put that right around the middle. I'm going to change this to a white. And there that is. I'm going to change my main camera to black like that. And definitely need to shrink this down a lot. So grab this. Remember, if we want to keep our text looking good, we want to scale it here, not in the font space. So we're going to scale this down to say, I don't know, like 0.3 or something like that. So let's try that, 0.3, whoops, 0.3, something like that. And that's still not good enough. Let's grab it. I mean, it sort of works, but I don't know. That's a little bit intense. So let's go and let's scale it down just a little bit more. Let's say 0.25, 0.25, something like that. There you go. Good enough. So there is our scene. And if you want to be able to change your scenes, you also are going to need to add that to your build settings. So we're going to go File and Build Settings and add Open Scene like that, and then close it. And then go File, Save Scenes, and File, Save Project. And then let's jump over to our main scene, and then we'll add that as well. Whoops, double click it, make sure, well, we come over here and click on Open if it doesn't open that way. All right, so now we got everything all open there. And then we're gonna come up here and go File once again, Build Settings, Add Open Scenes, there's that one. And then drag our main scene over top of the Game Over scene, and then close that. Okay, so now we'll be able to use both those scenes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to set it up here so that our game will have an ending to it. So let's go into our scripts, and we're going to do that inside of shape. Okay, so here is shape. Now inside of start, what we're going to do is we're going to say if at any point in time a shape shows up and it is not in the grid, that means it is messed up in some way. That is a sign that we have shapes overlapping shapes, and in that situation we are going to want to end the game. So we're going to say if it's not in the grid, then we got a problem. So, and obviously this is a function, so there it is, and we created that in previous parts of the tutorial. All right, so what are we going to do now? Oh, well, we should play a sound. So let's see here. Do I have a sound somewhere? Here we are. So grab that and throw a sound inside of there, and the sound we're going to play is the game over sound. Game over. Okay, so we got that. Now what we want to do is we want to call for our game over scene to show up. So how are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to use Invoke, which is going to call a function, and the name of that function is going to be Open Game Over Scene, and it's going to call it after a certain number of seconds have passed. Let's say like half a second has passed. Really, really brief. So there that is. So then we'll come down here, and I'm going to say Invoke Repeating, and this is going to slowly increase the speed of our shapes on the screen. So I started off doing that, but then I wanted to get the scene out of the way. So what it's going to do is it's going to wait 2 seconds, and then every 2 seconds after that it is going to call this function increase speed, which we're going to create here in a moment. But now what I got to create is the open game over scene. So let's go void and open game over scene, and this isn't going to receive anything. It's just going to open up the game over scene, and this is it. After a half a second, it's going to open that up. So what are we going to do with this? Well, we're going to destroy our shape. So we're going to say destroy, and that's going to be game object. So there that is, destroyed. And then we got to call the scene manager load scene, and the name of our scene is game over. Whoops, game over. There we are. Okay, so, and this is giving me an error. It's saying show potential fixes, and the guy that I need is scene management. Is it even here? Oh yeah, there it is. That's what I need to be able to switch scenes inside of my code. All right, so got that set. And now we got to create the increase speed, and to do that, I'm going to go void and increase speed, and it's not going to receive anything. It's just going to increase the speed, and here we'll go and refer to shape speed, the static that we just created, and we will decrement that down by a certain amount. We'll go 001F and see how that works out. Might work, might not. Don't know. Find out. So when are we going to increase this speed? That's going to lie down inside of here. What we want to do here is we want to change up this just slightly. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to say time minus, and then I'm going to say last move down greater than or equal to, and then I'm going to say shape speed instead of 1. So that will make it change over time. So shape speed, there it is. All right, so that's going to, you can change scenes and then have the speed increase. You can do whatever you want. This is just what I'm going to do, you know, and you can move it and do whatever you want in your own version of Tetris. And we're going to run it, and we're going to see. I'm on purpose going to try to lose here, so that's what they all say, huh? Okay, so man, it's being very useful here. And there it goes, game over. All right, so that worked, good. All right, so what else did we do here? Oh, we wanted to see if the speed increases for the shapes and how that works. So I'm going to play this here for a moment, and then you're going to see that it changes. And as you can see, the spaces are moving quicker. And they'll eventually move much quicker. Okay? So there we are doing that. So we know the speed is increasing, and also these are stacking and all that stuff. Now let's get rid of this guy and then put the next shape inside of there. Alright, so very first thing I want to do is get rid of the myArray thing here. It was useful at the moment, but now it is no longer useful. And we're going to save that, and then we're going to jump into Shape Spawner, which is going to be where we go and display the next shape. The only thing is we have these prefabs here. What we want to do with them is we want to get a version of the prefab that doesn't have the shape script attached. That's, you know, because if we go and we throw this prefab on here with this attached to it, that's going to cause all kinds of problems. So how do we go and dislocate that? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the shape, iShape, drop it on there. I'm going to change its name. I'm just going to put NS on there for next shape. Grab it, throw it into the prefabs area. Go get this, delete that, and then get this guy right here, and then I'm going to delete the shape component off of it. Okay? Let's do that one more time, and then I'll do it for all the shapes, and then, you know, whatever. So let's go and do this, and then grab it, throw it into the prefab section, and then with it selected, we are then going to remove components, and then we're going to come over here and delete it. Okay, so now I'm going to do that for all of them, so we will be able to display them over here under where it says next. Alright, got it all set up here. Just gonna set up my Z shape, grab it, drop it into the prefab section, come over here and remove the script, and then delete this. Alright, so we got those all set up. Super awesome. Now let's jump into Shape Spawner. Now what are we going to do with Shape Spawner? Well, basically I'm going to have a new array, and it's also going to be made up of game objects, but it's going to be those shapes that do not have the shape script attached to them, so they won't move basically. Alright, so let's go in here and create this. Let's call these next shapes, because that's kind of what they are, and make that capitalized. Alright, so got that set. I then want to hold a reference to the game object that it is going to represent. So I'm going to say game object, and up next object is going to be equal to null. And you know what? Since we went and created this array, let's go and propagate it with all those shapes right now. All right, so here we are, and let's go and shape spawner, and here's next shapes, and this is going to be 7 just like it is above. So let's go, whoops, not 77. All right, there's all those guys, and we'll go and drop all of the new images in there. So I shape, drop that there, and make sure you get the ones with the NS at the end of it. So there's J, and make sure you get them in exactly the same order, otherwise it's going to cause problems. And there's that, O and S and T, and then finally Z. Okay, so they all look I, J, L, O, S, T, Z. All right, they're in the same order, so good stuff. And let's go and save that, and then jump back over into our shape spawner script. Here we are. Now after this, what I want to do is I want to create a shape index, and I'm going to give it a default value of 0. And then I want to create another one, and it's going to be the next shape index. And it's also going to have a value of 0. Okay, so we got that set. Then we come down into spawn shape. We're going to be changing some of these things here. I want to generate a random index. However, this is going to be equal to next shape index, like that. And create the shape at the shape spawner's location. That is still going to stay exactly like it is. I am then, after this is all done, I am going to get the next shape index, and I'm going to get it exactly like I did before, which is random range. Shouldn't have deleted that. I could have copied and pasted it, but whatever. So 0 through 6, got those all set up. I then want to define where the next shape is going to be positioned. So I'm going to do that with a vector, of course. I'm going to go vector 3, next shape, position. And this is going to be a lot of messing around to try to figure out where to put this. So I'm going to go new vector 3, and I have no idea what this is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 0, 0 inside of here right now and figure it out, just by trial and error, by dragging things around and seeing how they work. After that, I need to destroy the next shape sprite if it already exists on the screen. Otherwise, I'll have a whole bunch of sprites printing on top of each other, and that's bad. So I'm going to go up, next, object, not equal to null in that situation. Actually, I don't need these. In that situation, I can say destroy, up, next, object. So if one of them exists, I don't want any to exist before I put a new one, so I'm going to just destroy it. And then I'm going to say up next object is going to be equal to instantiate, instantiate, and I'm going to throw next shapes, and inside of here I'm going to put the next shape index. Let's get that guy. And after that, I can get my next shape position, which is going to be, you know, the vector that I'm going to figure out here in a moment. And then I do that weird thing that handles the rotations and identity. Okay, there we go. Whoops, identity, not indentity. Okay, set it. Then down inside of my start area, before I spawn my first shape, I need to go next shape index is going to be equal to, and then I need to generate a random value. So I'm going to grab this guy, copy that, paste that inside of there, save it, and I don't need to do anything with update. So now let's go and test to see if that all worked. I do not see any errors, so let's run it. Well, that's okay. Well, there's the, you know, the thing up next. Remember, I didn't know where to position it, so let's go. And look at that. See, it worked. So now what I need to do is, through trial and error, figure out how to move that right there. And then I think we're done. And there you go, guys. Got all of that all set up. Let's make sure our shape comes up the way we want it. And there it is. Let's see if we then get another yellow cube. And we did. And we're just going to come in here and drop it. Okay, cool stuff. Alright, drop it. And as far as I can tell, everything is working beautifully. Alright, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial series. I definitely enjoyed making it. It was a lot of fun. And up next, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm either going to be Pac-Man or Mario. Haven't decided yet. You guys will ultimately decide. And like always, please leave your questions and comments below. Otherwise, till next time.